But so let's talk to you about real time engines, like because I've saw that on your LinkedIn profile. You know, you said you think real time engines will play a major role in the future of music production.
Yeah.
But first of all, what is real time engines? I don't really know what that is.
So a real-time engine, I mean, get game engines effectively.
Hmm.
I've noticed people are starting to refer to them as real-time engines now because it's not just games being made to create. It's not just games being made using game engines anymore. So,
Right.
what I mean by that is, I mean, obviously things like virtual reality, but even things like architectural design, any 3D environment really. So not just gaming. People started referring to them as real-time engines, but effectively it's a blank 3D canvas, if you like, that you can populate with graphics um, and code that allows you to navigate your way through those graphics and interact with those graphics as you would do in a video game or a computer game. And add sound to those objects or to the environment. So it's like a blank 3D canvas where you can create any world you like. I guess only the imagination is the only limiting factor there. And two of the prominent players really. I mean, big AAA game companies that they've got their own in-house engines, game
Hmm.
engines. But there are two that are quite widely available, which are also used to create commercial games. So that's Unity and the Unreal Engine.
Hmm.
And they both pretty much do the same thing in a way. It's kind of like a very bad analogy, maybe, but Logic versus Pro Tools, if you like. They're kind of
Right.
doing
Right.
the same thing, but they do some things better than others or something slightly different than others, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
But yeah, Unity and Unreal Engine are the two kind of the big players. And so what you've got is you've got a few things coming together. So you've got the game engine, real time engine, and then you've got this concept of spatial audio, binaural audio, and the concept of 6 degrees of freedom. So what I mean by that is that you can have, if you can picture like a gamified recording studio, if you like, picture recording studio in your brain, and then think of a game version of that, where it's graphics and renders and all that sort of stuff, and you've got like a drum kit in one corner of the room, and you've got a bass guitar, a guitar, a singer, maybe even renders or avatars of the musicians or what have you. Anyway, so as the band is playing, you can kind of walk around that performance as it's being played. So and the audio will change depending on where you are, what you're looking at, what you're interacting with. So you could wander up to the drums, and the drums are a bit louder. You can wander behind the drums. You could even sort of kneel down and put your ear up to the graphic of the kick drum and hear more of the kick drum. Go right up to the vocalist and get a very intimate kind of vocal sound. It's a way of exploring the audio, I guess. So what I've been experimenting with is taking, for example, I worked with film and video game composer Stephen Barton, and also Dr. Hyun-Kook Lee from Huddersfield University, and Dr. Gavin Kearney from York University, and we've done a lot of experimenting together. So we recorded a band in Studio 3, a jazz band. We recorded a string octet in Studio 2. They played Eleanor Rigby. So the idea being is that you kind of capture the recording in a way that captures not only spot mics like you would for any normal recording, but you also capture 3D representations of the room, and 3D representations of the middle of the room and the outside of the room. So you can take those ambisonic or mono objects or stereo objects and place them inside the game So when you wander around the room, if you go to the corner of the room, it sounds more roomy and more reverberant, as it would do in real life. Or you wander up to the violins and stick your head up to the violins, you kind of hear the bow on the string almost. Or you can stand in the middle of the room and get more of a balanced overall sound. So you're kind of free to explore the musical performance. And I've also done it with old recordings as well. I've taken like an old 4-track it was a Rod Stewart recording done in Studio 3 with Jeff Beck. So it was 4-track, like I say. So it was separate drums, separate vocals, separate guitar, and the bass and the piano was on the same track, but I could just sort of filter them out a little bit. But I put speakers in the room and reamped the entire recording through speakers using Ambisonic microphones and close microphones and spatial arrays, and that worked really well. I just attached the drums to a graphic of a drum kit, attached the vocal to a graphic that looked nothing like Rod Stewart, but it still looked like someone in front of a microphone. And again, you could just wander through the recording. So it kind of works both ways. You can take catalog material and rework it in a way that allows you to experience that recording in a way you've never ever experienced it before. That's or cool. You can do like a fresh recording with that in mind, and again, you still get this very unique experience. So I guess what I'm saying is that it's still early days, and I think the learning curve is quite steep from a traditional recording engineer's point of view. What I mean by that is, I think anyone can learn it, obviously, but if you're going from a DAW like Ableton into a game engine like Unity it's quite a steep learning curve. It's a bit of a different kettle of fish.
I can imagine.
And there's so many different tools out there that can handle not so many different, there's a few different options out there that can handle the audio, some better than others. Ambisonic microphones, not that you definitely don't need ambisonic microphones, you can still create good experiences without them, but they do help. And different spatial clusters of microphones. So say taking microphones we know, say like an AKG 414, and arranging several of those in clusters, so you're picking up not only the sound from in front, but also from behind and from above and from below, and then encoding that in a way that you can place inside a game engine. All of these little things take a bit of playing around with and getting used to. So what I mean when I say early days, I think people are still exploring techniques and methods that work. But I guess bigger picture, what I'm envisaging is more artists, producers, engineers using software like Unreal or Unity to express themselves, to express their art, to express their music in ways that hasn't really been possible before. There's early adopters, artists like Bjork have got some really cool VR experiences where you can walk through her world, if you like. It's like the next level of the concept album. And then if you've got like great audio, great spatial audio, like great coders, great graphics, AI even, you put those tools, those pillars together, those elements together. And I think we're going to start seeing some very, very interesting music experiences moving into the future. I think it's really exciting. It's the old way of working, if you like. Not that that's going to go anywhere. There will still be recording and mixing inside a DAW, and then that's it. That's your end point. But for me, recording and mixing inside a DAW, and then you create your stems, your assets you like in the DAW, and then you import those assets into the game engine, and the game engine is kind of like where I'm doing my final mix now.
Right.
That's where I'm doing my final tweaks. Level, panning. Yeah, level panning. Yeah, it's a mix, but you're doing it inside a 3D environment as opposed to a 2D environment.